people kind of are a little weird about it, but the 10th step to the riches is the mastery of sex transmutation. And I know you've talked about this one before.
Yeah, so I think it's so funny because, and he talks about it in the book.
Sure.
People get so weirded out with even with the word sex, right?
Yeah, right.
Much less in a public setting or a business setting. Like, you oftentimes can't have the two together.
Correct.
But so how this is one of my favorite principles, and kind of summarize it how I think about it. When we as individuals, when we want sex so bad that that's the only thing we think of, right? Somebody turns on a football game, we don't stop thinking about sex, or we don't want the football game.
Right.
When we get our mind on sex, especially as men, right?
Yep.
That's all we think about.
Yep.
And sometimes we do anything legal or illegal,
right,
to get it, right?
Yeah.
And so sex transmutation, taking those desires and those feelings, not exactly the same, right? Because then it would get weird if you applied it to business.
Right.
But taking the same passion that you have here and actually applying it to business.
Yep.
Like, we don't stop at any certain point when we want sex generally, right?
Right.
But the first hiccup we have in business, or the first objection we get, we just give up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so taking the two sides of it, and being super persistent.
Yep.
In business.
Yep.
Yeah, maybe that's a good way to summarize it, right?
Yeah.
Sex transmutation in business is just super persistence.
And just kind of taking that same thought process of that, like the must have, and then just transferring it into that focus into something else to be able to get that. Yeah.
Into Grant Cardone's thing, his book, Be Obsessed or Be Average.
Yep.
I bought it 2 weeks ago or 3 weeks ago, and I've read it twice now.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah.
It's just like it's such a different mindset shift, right? It's the same thing.
Yeah.
Generally, right? Take sex transmutation and apply it here. Don't be average, right?
Yeah.
Kick average aside and be obsessed, because average is the failing class, right? And kind of the same thing. Just be obsessed with one particular field in business, or in life, not necessarily just business, but in life.
Sure.
And excel at it, and you'll eventually get it.
Do you have any suggestions of how you've used it yourself to be a better business person, or a better to how you've actually transferred that power into something else?
I think sexual self-mastery, right? So being consistently, how am I trying to say, or what am I trying to say? Consistently reliant, or maybe not reliant, consistently committed to the same person.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So being faithful, I guess that's a better word. Yeah. Being faithful to one person, not messing around on your own on the side, but being committed to that one person.
Sure.
Relying wholly on them instead of looking around to other means.
Yeah.
Because it's such a powerful, and for me, such a sacred force that shouldn't be messed with.
Yeah.
And if you can conquer one of what I think one of the most powerful emotions or feelings that we have as people, if you can conquer that and control it, I mean, you can conquer and control your objections and the things you receive on the business side of things, or in life, right? The hardships and the trials and things that pop up. If you can control this, you can and transfer that same sort of energy over. Yeah, you can pretty much conquer anything then.
And he talks to, I can't remember the third one, but he talks about how if you take sex, love, what is the third one, and combine them all, that's like the biggest driving force.
I don't know.
I guess you have to read the book. I guess I have to read the
there
book.
you go. You don't trust me. I've read it 11 times.
That's
now.
right.
I can't
That's
even
right.
remember.
Right. Yeah, and I think it's just talking about, you know, like if we take that same kind of drive and put it into other things, that there's a really good chance that we will accomplish like essentially what we're hunting for, you know, in life. He also talks about too, I can't remember exactly what it was, but he talked about something about a male after the age of 40. That's really where this part, this kicks in, is just like that drive of being able to shift over things into being able to use that power. So I thought that was really cool too as well. Okay, and we've kind of so just to recap, we've talked about desire, we've talked about faith, we've talked about autosuggestion, specialized knowledge, imagination, organized planning, decision, persistence, power of the mastermind, the mastery of sex transmutation, and then the 11